Hello and welcome to StateScoop TV. I'm Jake Williams. We're here with Todd Kimbriel. He's the Chief Information Officer for the state of Texas. Todd, how you doing?
Good. How are you, Jake? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for being here. So Todd, the role of the CIO is changing. We hear that every time we come to a NASCIO conference. How have you seen that in Texas?
It is changing. It's really having to force cultural changes on traditional IT thinking, adopting more agile strategies, getting away from traditional sort of waterfall mentality. Also changing the risk appetite. So CIOs, tend to be a little bit risk averse, where the ramifications of certain decisions can be pretty severe. But I think we're changing our risk appetite for one, elevating the conversation. So we see more CIOs involved with the executive directors. So technology is moving up the C chain, if you will. We're seeing some of those changes more broadly, which we're certainly encouraging. And I think the last thing is that there is back to the risk appetite, the view that many people have that fear of failure drives a lot of behavior. Mm-hmm. I would say that fear of failure is becoming less significant. I see people moving more towards learning fast instead of fearing failure.
Sure.
So encouraging to see that behavior.
Interesting. And so tell us about the biggest project that you and your team have completed this year, and really how is it changing the way that you and your state do business?
So for us, it's a hybrid cloud initiative. That effort that we made in our data center program to deliver orchestration layer, self-service orchestration layer capabilities into the hands of our data center customers. The other thing that we've been very involved in is, as you know, state procurement is a very involved process, and we offer a lot of shared services programs, and we sort of found ourselves at this particular moment in time in sort of the perfect storm of solicitation, procurement challenges, because we've got large shared services programs that are all simultaneously being reprocured. So our Texas.gov program, our managed security services program, our data center multi-service integrator component of the data center program, managed application services, so all of these different elements all are coming due at the same time. So our staff's been working really hard, and no doubt driving the private sector crazy with all these different opportunities, but we're committed to working through all of them and making them all successful.
Sure, and so every time we get together at NASCIO, we hear a lot about how the cybersecurity threat continues to change and evolve. Mm-hmm. How are you preparing your team and your state to be more secure as that threat continues to grow?
Yeah, so we continue to stay on top of threat vectors, and we're traditionally always concerned about phishing and the end user training. So the end user continues to be your biggest threat, but your best line of defense as well. So educating our end users is always a top priority for us. The other thing that we're working on is we have a cybersecurity coordinator role, and the purpose of our cybersecurity coordinator role is to provide a comprehensive security strategy for everybody in the state, with the exception of state agencies. So we have a chief information security officer, and that role is to protect through policy and education and incident response and awareness, is to really focus on state agencies. This coordinator role is really intended to focus on everything else, whether it's K through 12, private sector, small business, critical infrastructure. And so we're putting together a business plan to actually implement this organization that's modeled after MSI-SAC, okay. So that we have an information sharing and analysis function, but serving completely within Texas. So serving, as I said, small and medium businesses, K through 12. And this organization will be predicated on several centers of excellence, one being threat detection, one being threat dissemination, curriculum dissemination, so we can take what's been done in certain school districts who have been very passionate and aggressive about injecting cybersecurity training in, for example, elementary schools and middle schools, sure. And then leading that up into high school programs. San Antonio, for example, has 5 high schools that have recently been NSA certified centers of excellence. Wow. So yeah, they've really made some great strides, and so we want to take those experiences and put those into sort of a digital playbook and bring those to all the other communities in Texas and sort of encourage adoption of those same best practices to try and get more cybersecurity awareness, more training, beginning at K through 12, beginning in elementary school, with a specific intent to address the negative unemployment that exists today in the workforce. So it's a long-term strategy. We're committed to standing up this organization and offering these services, and really primarily trying to address that workforce issue. Is we need to have more everybody needs a cybersecurity trained professional, and we need to have more of them.
That's great. And so last question, the last time you and I talked, we talked about emerging technology, and we talked about a lot of your thoughts there and what you're seeing across the landscape. How are you and your team planning and preparing for emerging technology, whether it be artificial intelligence, blockchain, drones, anything of the sort?
So 2 ways, one practically and the other way is policy-wise, right? So policy-wise, we are injecting in the terms and conditions of all of our contracts allowances for injecting emerging technology more agilely into the mid-life cycle of an existing contract. So oftentimes you get bound by the term of a contract, but if you're in a 5 or 7 year contract, technology changes every 18 months. So you have to have that that ability to accept new technology within the life cycle of an existing contract. So from a policy perspective, we're focused on that. For practical matters, we do have a Chief Technology Officer, and his office is charged with innovative, forward-looking thinking. And so we engage with the vendor community, and we encourage vendors to come to us with new technology elements and give us roadmap briefings. So we probably hold 2 or 3 of those a month, where we encourage our vendor partners to come in and help us understand where they think technology is going. Blockchain is certainly an interesting technology. Blockchain is a product, really it's distributed ledger technology. And I think that potentially can be as disruptive as virtualization was, 15 years ago. I don't think anybody has really got a real solid use case on it. There are certainly some cases where different organizations in the world have adopted some deeding capabilities, but it's a big jump to go from a couple of isolated use cases into more broad adoption. And my sense is that I see people that are struggling with how to really understand what a viable use case is going to be and how that technology can be brought to bear. But I'm hearing more and more people talk about it. I do think it will be a disruptive technology. We are doing a pilot right now with leveraging the Ethereum product, and just so that we can get some experience with it. And it's really a license management solution where we're leveraging a pool of licenses, cybersecurity licenses across various state agencies, and kind of managing that transition of how we allocate them out for a brief period of time and then manage the retrieval of those licenses. So we're not quite getting into credentialing management yet, but I think that's probably going to be an easy space for people to move into with viable use cases. But I think blockchain certainly has that very disruptive characteristic to it.
That's great. Well, Todd, looking forward to hearing more about blockchain and all of the great things that you're working on in Texas soon. Thanks for being with us.
Great. Thank you, Jake. Appreciate it.
For more about what Todd Kimbriel is working on in the state of Texas, check out StateScoop.com. I'm Jake Williams, StateScoop's Associate Publisher and Director of Strategic Initiatives, here with Todd Kimbriel, the Chief Information Officer for the state of Texas. Thanks for watching.